Hey everybody, this is at now_world_order from Twitter, and this is going to be a video, just some of my thoughts on what's going on in the world of professional wrestling right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about the WWE, a little TNA, a little Ring of Honor, and there's been some big news today especially, but throughout the last couple of weeks as well. So I'll touch on quite a few things here. And bear with me, it's going to kind of be all over the place. I just have like a few notes, and that's about it. So this is going to be pretty much all right off the top of my head, one take. Let's see how this goes. Excuse me. So first up, I've got Santino, retired from, active in-ring competition with the WWE. He had a very good career for what he was. He had a lot of memorable moments, like almost winning the Royal Rumble a few years ago. Him and McFoley doing like the Cobra versus the Mr. Socko deal. His thing with Beth Phoenix. There was a lot of stuff Santino did. He debuted winning the Intercontinental Championship. That was, a big moment, especially for his career. And I'm assuming they're going to keep Santino employed, in some capacity. And he's still good for, with it being a PG show, he can still add something to the show, and he can do little commercials and meet and greets and sign autographs and all that good stuff too. So I think Santino will stay in the WWE in some capacity. And from what I understand, it was just too many neck injuries. So, good career, Santino. That you were entertaining for what you were. You did it very, very well. Next up here, I've got, so NXT has been really good, in my opinion. It's my second favorite show the WWE produces right now, next to Monday Night Raw. But the in-ring competition on NXT, a lot of weeks has better matches than what you would see on Raw or SmackDown or Main Event or Superstars or any of these other WWE branded shows. It's been really well served for guys like Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd, guys who have been on the main roster but maybe need to freshen up what they're doing. They need to really find themselves as performers or as characters, and they need to go down and just polish their work a little bit. I think putting Gabriel and Kidd together is a really good idea, mainly because I don't think Kidd is good on the microphone at all, but he's very good in the ring. And he plays a good heel character, but his whole dynamic with Natty is the most entertaining stuff I've seen him do since he's been in the company. And Justin Gabriel, we all know, is a very good in-ring competitor as well. He's very acrobatic. He does some really cool stuff. The two of them, I think, could be a really good tag team. And I hope that they keep the two of them together. They've been teasing a split between Kidd and Natty, but we'll see what happens there. I like the idea of guys like Rob Van Dam coming down, and not permanently, but coming down and wrestling. Like the other week we had RVD versus Adrian Neville for the NXT Championship. That was a good match. That was fun to watch, and it's okay for guys like RVD and some other guys that are, maybe really established or just, more established than the guys currently on the NXT roster come down and put some guys over. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. I'd love to see someone like Dolph Ziggler go down to NXT, and he's a guy that I wouldn't mind him staying down there just for the simple fact of, I'd like to see him be like the NXT champion and just have incredible matches with all these up-and-comers before they go to the main roster. The only reason I say that is because Ziggler's underused within the WWE system, and he should be main eventing the main shows of the WWE. But if they're not going to do that, and they're not going to do that anytime soon, I would love to see him just tear the house down in NXT. And there's other guys on the roster I'd like to see do that. We're seeing Xavier Woods going back down there. I think there's going to be more to come, and I'm all for it. NXT's been very entertaining, so and I give big kudos to Triple H for a lot of that. He's done a really good job with it as well. I'll talk a little bit more about that with some of the news that came out today here in just a minute. The main event for Battleground looks like it's going to be Roman Reigns versus John Cena versus Kane versus Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. They've really built this up to where Reigns looks like he's going to take over for John Cena. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how long it's going to be from now. I'm assuming it's going to be a slower build than it's happening just right now. But when you have Reigns and Cena face to face, the crowd is behind Reigns. He has the it factor. He has the look the WWE loves. He has the heritage within, the family he's in, being kin to The Rock and Umaga and Rosie and, all that whole Samoan family and all those great performers. And he's, I believe he's like cousins in some way with the Usos. So, I mean, his time is going to come. I don't know if it's right away, but you can definitely see that the WWE realizes what's happening with this. And, I've talked many times about how I feel about John Cena. He's going to be marketed now as like the greatest champion of all time. He's only one championship run away from the all-time record that Ric Flair has held like forever. I don't see Kane or Orton winning this match. I expect John Cena to retain the championship. I'd like to see Roman Reigns win, but at the same time, I also want to see him built up a little bit more slowly. I don't want to see them blow their wad on Roman Reigns too fast, and then he has nowhere to go. So, I'm going to pick Cena to win that match. I'll do a full-on Battleground review and preview video sometime before the show actually happens. But, yeah, like I said, they're teasing this whole Kane Randy Orton thing, but they're on the same page, and Roman Reigns just, we'll see what happens with that. I think this was made a four-way match so they wouldn't have to do like Cena, Kane, which no one would care about, or Cena versus Orton, which no one would care about again. And I don't think they want to do Reigns versus Cena, at least not right now. So I think that's the reason we have this match. Another match we just found out is going to be at Battleground. I'm very excited for. It's going to be Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Ambrose might be the most over babyface on the roster. And I know I'm biased, and everyone who watches my videos knows how highly I think of Dean Ambrose, and I have long before he was even in the WWE or NXT or FCW or any of that stuff. It doesn't even matter who wins this match, whether it's Rollins or Ambrose. These guys are going to deliver, and they're the future of the company. I'm very excited to see what these guys do, and I know it's just the beginning of what's most likely going to be a long feud, and I'm all for it. I'll talk more about that during my Battleground predictions, but I just wanted to say, good move by the WWE for putting these two together. It's going to be awesome. Another thing I need to mention, one of my top three, if not my favorite all-time professional wrestler, Y2J, Chris Jericho, just returned a couple weeks ago on Raw. He's going against Bray Wyatt at Battleground, and they're going to have probably a feud for a few months until Jericho, takes another hiatus and does his thing with Fozzy and all the other stuff he does. His podcast is awesome. The dude's a hell of an entertainer. He's a hell of a pro wrestler, hell of a rock star, podcaster, everything. King of all trades. Guy's awesome. I love that he just comes back to do these things and help put people over, and I have no problem with it. He's not coming in and taking the spotlight and beating all the top guys like some other people that we keep having to watch. But so him and Bray Wyatt is going to be awesome. I have no doubt about it, and I'll talk more about that one too later on. But welcome back, Y2J, and follow the Buzzards. It's going to be fun to watch. Also, my boy Cody Rhodes, aka Stardust, he's the most over I've probably ever seen him, and I think the fans are really starting to catch on to the Stardust character. I think him and Goldust, it's just a matter of time before we have Stardust and Goldust versus the Wyatt family for the tag team championships. I believe the Wyatt family will beat the Usos for the titles at Battleground, and it's a 2 out of 3 falls match. So that's good. They've been putting on very solid matches consistently. I'm all for a 2 out of 3 falls match between those two teams, and I'm really hoping to see more from Stardust and Goldust. It's been really fun to watch. So the big news today was the WWE has officially signed Pro Wrestling Noah star Kenta. He's going to be assigned to NXT to start off. And the cool thing about this to me is they introduced him as Kenta rather than some weird generic Japanese or Asian name like they're known to do, like when they completely repackage someone everyone already is familiar with. I can't wait to see him go in there and wrestle guys like Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn. I mean, they're going to tear the house down. It's going to be great. The thing is, Kenta's going to come in and they're going to water down his style, at least marginally. And the moves that he's famous for, he's probably not going to be allowed to use. He invented the go to sleep, which is obviously CM Punk's finishing move. If and when he returns, I doubt the WWE wants Kenta using that. And that knee that Daniel Bryan does that beat John Cena, Kenta uses that too. I mean, he's got a large arsenal of moves. He's got awesome kicks, suplexes, everything. He has a very stiff style, which I hope they are able to keep at least enough of that in his arsenal that it's still entertaining. He's a guy I've been watching for a long time too. He had a really cool run in Ring of Honor where he wrestled a lot of the top guys and had really solid matches when he was in Ring of Honor. He's a legend in pro wrestling, Noah, just a Japanese wrestling megastar. This is a huge signing by the WWE, and I'll talk a little bit more about that before the end of the video. Also, another guy that the WWE has signed, and it hasn't been like as cut and dry as the Kenta thing, but we all know Kevin Steen is going to be headed to NXT soon as well, and that's another guy. Like Kenta versus Kevin Steen is going to be awesome. Kevin Steen and Sami Zayn, we know that they have a long, incredible history. Man, that El Generico Kevin Steen feud is one of the best feuds I've ever seen still. We found out that Steen's going to be wrestling Tommaso Ciampa, Steve Corino, and Silas Young in his last 3 feuds, or last 3 matches, whatever you want to call it, in Ring of Honor. I'm sure he's going to have great matches with all 3. What more can you really say? I mean, Kevin Steen has ruled the indies for a little while now, and it's time to see what he can do in the big leagues, and I'm very excited to see it happen. This is just going to make NXT even more loaded and even more of a must-watch show. Imagine with Triple H running the show, from the gorilla position, and you've got Neville, Zayn, Steen, Kenta, Tyler Breeze, if you're into that, Kalisto. I mean, there's so many guys that are going to be able to just tear the house down in NXT. It's going to be so much fun to watch. It's going to only get better, and then you're going to see these guys develop to whatever standard the WWE has for them, and you're going to start seeing them trickling into Monday Night Raw and the main shows, and you're going to have some of these guys sooner rather than later against guys like Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Daniel Bryan, if and when he comes back, Cesaro, Bray Wyatt, all these guys, Ziggler. That it's only gonna get better. I'm really looking forward to the future of the WWE. Speaking of the future and the past, I haven't talked at all about the recent firings from the WWE. They released a lot of names a couple weeks ago. The most surprising and the biggest names that were released were Evan Bourne and Drew McIntyre. Brodus Clay was released. From what I understand, he's going to go to Japan. He's just a guy who was underused. That Funkasaurus gimmick was only going to last so long. Yoshitatsu was released. I'm not going to go through every name, but these are just the main ones that I wanted to focus on. Yoshitatsu, I knew when they were going to sign Kenta that Tatsu was toast. I mean, there's no need for like a generic Japanese wrestler, this Yoshitatsu guy that they have not used in years, when they're going to have this guy Kenta, and they're just going to put the whole country of Japan on this guy's back, and I have no doubt about that. The Evan Bourne thing, no one really knows for sure exactly what his deal is and what his standing with the WWE is. I believe he's going to be doing a shoot interview soon if he hasn't already done it, and he's saying like he's down to burn bridges. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I'm sure it's just a matter of time before he's wrestling in Ring of Honor again, and I'm sure TNA has contacted him as well. Drew McIntyre will do the same. I expect him to be in TNA very soon. I hope that he has a more serious character, because he's a guy that I really still think has a lot of potential, and he's got a good look. He's got good size. He's gotten over in the WWE before, and he was just a product of just bad booking and untimely injuries. So best of luck to everyone who got released, though. There was a lot of names on there that were very predictable. Like, we knew it was just a matter of time with a lot of those guys, because they hadn't been used in very little or any capacity in a while. Last but not least, actually kind of least, if you're really analyzing it, but TNA Wrestling, I don't think it's been very good lately. Their matches are always going to be, fairly solid, on a consistent basis. I'm just not really into the storylines. I keep up with it, I really pull for a lot of those guys like Eric Young and Bobby Roode and James Storm, and there's a lot of talented guys in TNA, but Kurt Angle's said he hasn't accepted a deal that TNA has on the table for him. It's very clear that Angle is going to be trying to get back into the WWE if they'll have him, and I think that they will. I think Angle has said that this is going to be the last wrestling contract he signs before he retires. There's no way he can possibly be thinking that he wants to end his career in TNA. He wants to go out, on a big bang, and I see him back in the WWE very soon. We also know that Sting, former TNA wrestler and longtime former WCW NWA wrestler, he's putting these teasers up on Twitter. Something's going to happen Monday. He put a picture of himself on Twitter. Most likely it's going to have to do with the WWE 2K15 video game. But in any capacity, the fact that he is being featured means that there's progress, and that at some point in our lifetime we will get Sting in a WWE ring. Who knows when it's going to be, but it has to happen. It just, for history's sake, it just has to happen. Also with TNA, Lashley as champion does not interest me at all. Bully Ray is probably the most over guy on the roster, which is okay. He's done incredible work on his own since leaving Team 3D. He'll always be most known for his work as team, with the Dudley Boys. But him and Devon just went into the TNA Hall of Fame, and I'm very proud of Bully Ray. I just kind of wish that this character had a chance in the WWE, because pretty much everything right now in TNA is just getting wasted, like their talent. And just my last point, like this whole Tommy Dreamer and Rhino feud with like the Carters and stuff. Ethan Carter III has a lot of potential. I think he's a future star for any of the big companies, but why do we have to continue to watch feuds between like guys like Tommy Dreamer and Rhino? Like, I love those guys in ECW. I love them, for much of their WWE runs. I've seen them in TNA before. I've seen them in other companies like Ring of Honor and stuff before, and all these other hardcore homecomings and all these other things. The fact of the matter is this: ECW is long gone. I loved it when it was around. I used to watch it on late night television on the Nashville network, and trade tapes, VHS tapes with people, and find the pay-per-views somehow, and played their video games and everything. I loved ECW. I had their action figures even, the little Rob Van Dam and Sabu action figures and stuff. I mean, I was very into it, and I loved when it came back for One Night Stand, and then it came back again for that second One Night Stand. Then it became a brand, and then it became something completely different. And TNA had that debauchery of a TNA ECW Hardcore Justice show. It's over. Even Paul Heyman doesn't want to talk about it, because it's like it served its purpose for what it was meant to do. It did it. TNA should be focusing on their young talent, which everyone has been saying since the very beginning. since the company was founded in 2002, I believe. That's all anyone's ever talked about. And so why are guys still in the spotlight that shouldn't be? I'll do an entire video about TNA wrestling at some point in the future. I don't want to make this one too much longer because I don't want to lose everyone's interest. But that's what we'll do in the near future. I'll do a TNA video just talking about what they need to be doing, in my opinion. I'll talk some Ring of Honor. And I got to talk a lot about some UFC stuff going down, like the cancellation of UFC 176. There's also some big fights coming up for the UFC too. That all being said, please subscribe to this this YouTube channel. Subscribe to my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'm messing all this up. It's at NOW_WORLD_ORDER at now_world_order for my YouTube and my Twitter. Thank you to my 18 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the feedback. Send me questions on Twitter through mentions, or if I follow you on Twitter and vice versa, send me a DM. Please follow me. Like I said, I will accept your follow request. I have to approve you because my account is private. I will follow you back if you are a fan of professional wrestling, mixed martial arts, or a good-looking girl. Keep your eye out on my WCWs and some other stuff that I post. Take it easy, have a good one, and y'all be safe.